Guys, quick review here. I picked up this RC all-wheel drive front shock tower mount for my Hammer Ray. Going to be doing a quick install here just to see how this works. I saw this on AliExpress. I want to say it was like 12 bucks. So I was like, you know what? It's carbon fiber. For the price of it, you know, what harm can it do to try it? So the idea is it's going to mount the shocks a little bit more vertically, which should actually kind of increase the stiffness of the shocks. So I'm curious because I always feel like the suspension on this truck is a little bit unbalanced. It just seems to blow through the travel really quick in the front. The rear definitely has more travel, so I think that's the difference. It also has the dual dampers in the back. I was running a dual damper setup in the front, and I may go back to that. I took it off for the time being just to do some tuning with the shock springs and so forth. So let me run through the install on this. I think it's pretty simple, and I'll show you guys the result, and then hopefully have some running footage. So there are two different ways you can mount this, depending on, I guess, the ride height you're looking for in the front. You can mount it in this position, which would be the lower. It would keep the ride height higher because it's mounting the shocks down lower. And if you flip this, the shocks are mounted up higher, so it's going to essentially lower your whole front end. So I think at first I'm gonna try it in with the shock position, you know, try to keep the front ride height at least as high as it is right now, and just have the shocks mounted out more. And you have a lot of different positions for your shock mounts here, so a lot of tuning options. So let me try that. Okay, for the install, I just popped the hood here and removed the screws from the front grille from either side on the top, either side on the bottom, and then this just pops out. You gotta kind of spread these out a little bit because these little shoulders here go into the top here. So just pop that out and you could access the screws on the top of your shock mounts here. Okay, so what I noticed is running the shocks in the inner position on the arm and in the standard mount, you're pretty much at full droop here. Like that's as much as it's gonna droop. My limit straps aren't really doing much at that point. It's literally as far as it's going to travel. And you can see that this just slides right on and off the screw here, like so, really not changing anything with the ride height here. Now what I noticed is with this in the lower position, if you can see it's going to be kind of hard to see, but these lower three holes here all seem to line up about perfectly. This bottom row here, it's giving you the full droop, full extension here, but you really have the option of, so you're going from having your shock mounted on an inward angle, you can now mount it 3 additional positions to the outside, which furthest outside should result in the stiffest setting. So I think just for the sake of being able to tell the difference, I'm gonna go ahead and mount this on the outermost position. Now the other option would be, if you wanna keep your ride height a little lower in the front, like lower the whole front of the truck, which is essentially just raising up your shock position here to the top, it's going to, you know, keep the front of your truck a little bit lower, maybe better for handling. Oh, I got a little moss sample here. That's nice. Maybe I should water it and try to grow it. Yeah, but so now you have a couple options. Like I said, you could lower the front of your truck a little bit and still have 3 options up there. You can flip this the opposite way around, which would then result in the wheels, you know, drooping a little bit less, but it's going to lower the front of your truck. So maybe if you're driving on smoother terrain, then you're more into handling, cornering, that might be a good option, but I'm going to try it this way first. So let me button this up and I'll show you guys. So here it is, fully installed. They do give you shorter screws if you wanted to swap these out, but you got to take them out from the back side. And I'm like, you know what if I don't like this thing? I'm just going to leave them in so I can easily put the shocks back here if I wanted to. But yeah, so I have them mounted in the lower outermost hole, and we're gonna see how the suspension action works here. It does actually feel a little bit stiffer, like just moving it like this. So we'll see, maybe do a little drop test and see what happens. Chia. Okay, so I know this doesn't prove a ton, but you can get a feel for how your suspension is compressing just by dropping it like this. And it definitely seems like it is taking the hit a little bit more, it's a little more cushy. You know, it would blow through the travel a lot more before. It's definitely still slams in the front, you know, but yeah, gotta run it outside in the woods and get a feel for it. But I did manage to get out for a quick test with the new shock tower, and overall my impressions are really good. I think, especially considering that this thing is like $10. They're like $9-10 on AliExpress. Amazon has one for $12. I'm pretty sure they're all made by the same, you know, RC all-wheel drive or whoever is making them. I think it's all the same product, but definitely gives you a lot more tuning options, which I like. I feel like the front end is, you know, marginally stiffer. It's not a drastic difference, but I think just having some more tuning options with this is going to be really helpful going forward. I'll probably try messing around with the springs, or maybe going with a dual damper setup in the front again. But overall, I'm impressed, and it was cheap, so I like it. I would recommend it. Later, guys.